Let's welcome Kaylee to the stage.
Hi, my name is Kaylee, and my presentation is about telling the story. So the article I chose was Naming the Disappeared, right? Rising the Dead by Doris Salcedo, who in her article emphasizes on how much meaning art has in a time of crisis, and she has a goal of giving the voiceless victims, or having voiceless victims to be seen in her art. She wants the centerpiece of it be about memory, like the memory of forgotten, and also she wants to translate the testimonies of each victim into her art, making sure it's like the requirement of each and every art she has. She believes that the power of art lies in revealing hidden truths, challenging indifference, and going deep into traumatic events. With that, all of her art is in public, which goes into my the photographer I chose, Robert Capa, who's a war photographer. He uses a 35 millimeter, I can't remember, Leica camera. So it's a camera that's like lightweighted. It's small enough where you can hold it with like a single hand, and the film that it uses is like compact and it's like easy to use. The movement he was part of was like documentary photography, photojournalism, and modern photography. Most of his pictures that were like printed out and everything were featured in newspapers and magazines, shown all around the world. Also, he died in a landmine. The first one I'm going to talk about is the Fallen Soldier. The original name is Loyalist Militant Man. At the moment of death, Cyril Muriano, September 5th, 1936. This was a picture taken in the Spanish Civil War because he was alive during the Spanish Civil War and World War II, which we're going to get into later. So, the picture in general, it has like a dramatic composition in a way because like you see the man, he's like falling backwards sort of in a dramatic way. His rifle is like in his hand, but not really anymore because he got shot in the head. And also, there's like contrast. There's low contrast because the background's like it kind of blends in with each other with the same like sort of tones of gray, which also is like blurred out, having like the man slightly more focused than the background, which having you more focused on the man. And also, this photograph actually has a lot of controversy, whether it's like authentic or not, because historians are like, oh, this is authentic. No, this is not. And also in the magazine, the viewers are actually pretty stunned when they saw this because it's like, oh, you shouldn't put something so violent in like this European magazine. And they got like, editor got like angry complaints about like, you shouldn't put this on, but they did. The next one is Man Carrying a Wounded Boy. This is in Spain. So this is in 1937, so a year later after The Fallen Soldier. So this one, he didn't use like the rules of thirds, as you can see, he just like kind of smack dab in the center, a man and a boy that's wounded. So for this one, he wanted to show how the war was affecting everyday people, because instead of like doing everyday things like working, going to school, having a good life, they're like running away for their lives, they're in war, they're suffering, they're dying, they're getting hurt every day. And in general, it's kind of heartbreaking to see because if you think of the children, you're like losing your childhood and then not having a life. And also the contrast is, I guess, is more than the previous photograph, since it's like the darkness of it kind of gives it like a darker tone than it usually would. And the next one is American soldier killed by German snipers in Lichtenstein in 1945. So this is actually one of the last pictures taken. Like he taken of the war because this was taken during like the last couple of weeks before World War II ended. So the soldier who died and got shot in the head is Raymond J. Bowman. He was like 21, shot in the head. So originally, Kappa, he took this pictures when he was alive, but when he snapped it, he was dead. And then later on, he said in an interview 2 years later, he said, "Oh, this is a really beautiful death. I remember this the most." And he said it's like clean cut. It's like originally he was like, "Oh, this is his first day at war." He's like, I want to say having fun, but he's more like something refreshing to see for him because so far in his whole life, Kappa has been taking pictures of war after war, tragedy after tragedy, dead soldiers after dead soldiers. So it was like really refreshing to see, and then he died. There's like the contrast you could see is like the lighting came from the outside because he took this picture indoors on a balcony somewhere. So it gives it like a darker tone too. Like you see a dead man like on the doorway, bleeding. Yeah. And like in conclusion, Robert Kappa and like Doris Salcedo, they like both were making art during a time of crisis. They both want to bring awareness to the world of like what's going on around them, and they want to like show it through their arts. Yeah.
Yes, you should be confident there's a strong connection between the article and the arts. It's a good connection. Yeah. I think that was a really well chosen article from an artist. Pairing those up together certainly expresses the need to tell a story that is not really known widely or told widely through history. So I think that those are both very, very powerful pieces and put together. Audience, how about questions, comments, compliments?
Charlie?
I really like, this artist and just all the photos. I think it's just kind of interesting for me. And I saw this movie once. It was about like when they like pulled the troops out of Afghanistan. There was a documentary, and it was kind of like this, where they like went like behind the lines and like kind of took photos and videos. And I just thought it was interesting.
You said like he died from a landmine?
Oh yeah, he died in Vietnam landmine because he was sent. Because he was sent on like. Yeah, he died in a landmine, right? Age 40. His girlfriend died too. I mean, before that, age 26. Wait, I got wrong. Wait, his girlfriend died in the Spanish Civil War, age 26. First woman to die as a photographer in the front lines. Achievement, but you lost your life. But so he died in Vietnam because he had an assignment there. He was actually getting sick and tired of taking pictures of war, but he said, okay, last one. It really was his last one. Johanna?
I wanted to know what made you choose this artist? Like, what grabbed you to like make a presentation about him?
So, okay, short answer, his name was easy to pronounce. Long answer, I looked up political artists before 2000s. Let's scroll through. Oh, I can pronounce his name. Then I found out he was a war photographer. Then I got interested in that because I'm actually like really into learning about like wars, specifically World War II. And he's like also a Jewish Hungarian artist. So he wasn't born with the name Robert Kappa. He was actually, I think it's like Andre Friedman. I can't pronounce it, but like Andre Friedman around like that. And he had to like change his name for obvious reasons to not be persecuted and everything. Also, his story is actually pretty interesting, like what he went through. And like potentially a playboy. His playboy era was really interesting. That's also how he came to America because of this. He came to America for a woman, but he didn't get with her. He died single.
All right, thank you, Kaylee. We're actually at the end of our